Do you think that the average executive in fashion is outdated?
Tough question. What I think it's important is to stay ahead of the curve. You need to lead by example with your teams. So if you don't know what's happening, you're behind.
14 years old, you started your first business.
I started my first business selling ties.
So before executive entrepreneur.
Exactly. There's a young generation wanting to change the world through data. Extraordinary people that are very bright, like the guys in your team. I like to work with those people because they inspire me. Our industry has to change. It needs to change. It was like in 1800s, people were doing pictures and the painters were saying, what the hell?
Yeah.
Now we're doing the same thing. Do you want an AI to work with you or with a person? 78% of millennials and Gen Z are expecting to have hyper-personalization touchpoint with AIs. AI will not replace people. It will only replace those who are not willing to change. A lot of jobs will disappear, but a lot of them will be new.
Hi, welcome to the Fermat Podcast. Today, I've got the pleasure to introduce Raul Cruz Bonilla. Raul has been a fashion executive for more than 25 years in the global fashion industry. And for the past 6 months, he's become a dear friend of mine and a mentor to the Fermat project. Today, Raul has decided to do something groundbreaking. He's bridging the gap between AI solutions and the market he knows really, really well. This makes him uniquely positioned to transform the fashion industry. I hope you learned as much from this podcast as I did. Thanks for listening in. Raul, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a nice trip from Paris.
Yeah.
Happy to be back in Barcelona.
Did you like lunch?
It was fantastic.
It was very good, eh?
It was very good. I've been coming to Barcelona for 25 years, and there were still 2 dishes I have never tried. So thank you for showing me that.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to show food culture of our city worldwide. So I really enjoy doing that and sharing that with everyone.
10 on 10. Perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect start.
Okay, let's get right into it. Raul, you and I have been working for a while now.
6 months, yeah.
With Fermat brands. You've become more of a friend to me, which I really appreciate and really grateful for. But something that I'm always impressed by is that you always are reinventing yourself. You have a bunch of experience in the fashion world, being an executive more than 25 years, and you've reinvented yourself multiple times now. Do you think that the average executive in fashion is outdated?
Tough question. I wouldn't like to answer for the others, but on my behalf, what I think it's important is to stay ahead of the curve. Mm-hmm. If you don't move with the flow, you get behind. You need to know what's happening. You need to lead by example with your teams. So if you don't know what's happening, you're behind. And I think the best expression of what reinventing is that over the past 25 years, I finished my studies and I already did 3 executive, one in digital marketing, the other one in business of luxury, and the other one in AI, and we will get maybe a little bit deeper into detail on that. But I always wanted to move forward and to align the dots from the back. It means I didn't know where I was going, but I knew what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And as Alexis Moureau, the CEO from Louboutin, always says, and told to me, it's easier to link the dots from the back than from the beginning. But if it's coherent, it will look good. And yes, I have been reinventing. And the others, sometimes they feel good the way they are because it's comfortable. I like to be outside my comfort zone.
Do you think that comes from your sports background?
Yeah, I would.
Constantly improving.
Yeah. I was an elite international horseback rider. I won an international tournament, and I have been doing sports for my whole life. And if you don't improve every day, someone else will be doing that.
Yeah.
So you need to be ahead of the other ones. You need to invest time. And I think a lot of things are backed up from my experience in horseback riding.
Yeah, this resonates so much because in tech, and particularly with AI now, regardless of the vertical, if you're doing in fashion or in transportation, in servicing, it doesn't matter. Competition is crazy at the moment. And we always need to be one step ahead and doing more and more, because otherwise, the market just moves beyond, and you need to stay relevant.
Exactly.
So I fully share that. So what would you say fashion executives like yourself need to do to stay up to date, or what have you done?
As I told you, I think you need to be relevant.
Yeah.
If you are outdated, you're gonna be managing your teams with old habits. You need to know where the flow is gonna go, how it's going, and how to be ahead of that. Mm-hmm. So you need to be training. You need to have new point of views, to have an elevated, like an helicopter view of where you're going, to take the team with you.
You always talk about team. What's the biggest team you've ever had work for you, and the biggest team you've ever managed?
I don't think if the size is the most important thing, but I had around 100 people working at the headquarters, and like 60 or 50 in other countries working also, so 150. But it's mostly about working with people you care, that have a common strive into having a goal. When I started working at Decathlon due to sports, we all shared two passions. First of all, the client, and second one, we were all sports guys. So we have something that blended us to go forward, and that's what makes it, you don't succeed by yourself, you go faster alone, but you go farther with the team. And by being a senior executive, you need to strive those people with a clear vision, where you want to go, share that vision, give them enough freedom to excel, but being on their back to say, you should maybe doing this, and this. So being very aware of your want to go, but giving good guidance. That's teamwork for me.
I will take your advice as well. So let's take a step back. Your whole life you've been working in fashion before sports. How did you get actually started in fashion? What was your first experience?
So that was, I told you, I think we need a lot of wine. Daniel got a good bottle. It started really early. So I started selling ties to where Ralph Lauren was doing that. Ties. For...
How old were you?
14.
14 years old, you started your first business.
I started my first business selling ties to doctors, because my parents are both doctors, and I got a stock of ties that came from France. I bought them maybe for €5 a piece, and I was selling them for a 50. So I was doing ACOF 10, so that was really, really good.
So before executive entrepreneur.
Exactly. Since my youngest age, I was doing ties, and on parallel on that, I was selling salt for horses.
Salt?
Salt. Horses need to eat salt because they sweat a lot, so they need to eat salt. And I was buying 40 kilos boxes of salt for like a 10,000 maybe, and I was selling per kilo, and I was selling them for 10,000 a kilo. So I was earning a lot of money since I was 14 years old.
So 10x on the salt.
Exactly. Also,
you get 10 at like
exactly
10x margin.
I have been an entrepreneur all my life, so that's interesting, and we'll talk about it. But I also created a fashion company when I was like 35 in Barcelona, so we might maybe get back to that.
Cool. So after the tie business, the tie project, first business at 14, how did you get into corporate fashion, like into the actual world of big brands that you ended up working with?
So even before working for the brands, I was working in fashion and modeling. In Colombia, people are not that high, and being 6 feet tall and a little bit skinny, it worked quite well. So I did some modeling. I did some shootings for magazine like Men's Health and stuff like that, because you had to look well. I was quite fitted. And I was working on the other side of fashion. I saw the aesthetic beauty of doing fashion shows, pictures. I did pictures for Diesel Jeans, for Hugo Boss in Germany. So I really enjoyed that. But the first time I started working in a big group, it was for Decathlon in France. I started working in the store. And
a store manager?
Store manager, department manager on equestrian.
Of course.
So I started there. I worked for 6 months in Paris.
So wait, you had experience personally as a
horseback rider.
As a horseback rider?
Yeah.
And Decathlon hired you to be the store manager in Paris.
Exactly.
Very cool.
And I drove a lot of clients who heard that an ex-international champion was holding the department. I had a lot of clients coming, and I started working with the headquarters to enlarge and be much more sharper with the products that we were developing. And I think that's what makes also into tech. If you know what you're doing and you have the link with the sport, with tech and with the pain points, you are the right bridge to do between the client and the outcome of the product.
And after Decathlon,
I worked for the
story continue?
So I worked for Decathlon for 5 years. 6 months in Paris, 2 years in Germany. Germany was the first country Decathlon opened. And given the fact that I grew up in Germany, that's my mother language, I worked in Decathlon as a buying manager for whole Germany. So first of all, store, then a subsidiary. And 2 years back, I went to Decathlon worldwide, where I went from 1 store to 10 stores to 2,000 stores. And I started buying on the women's department, on fitness for the Domios brand. I was buying around, 25 million euros in buying. In product, and I was dealing also with the supply chain. So it was quite interesting to understand how to work with suppliers, what kind of information they needed, and we get back after that to how AI is. But I'm jumping like when we're still faxing our sales. I worked 5 years for Decathlon.
The purchase orders went through fax.
Exactly. And we spent at least 2 or 3 days analyzing sales. And when we had to place an order, our stock wasn't the same because it moved. So that's some of the things I think AI is already reshaping.
Okay.
I worked 5 years in Decathlon, then I worked for 3 years at Auchan. Auchan is Alcampo in Spain.
Yeah.
It's the same group where I started working marketing to build what we called shop in the shops. Say it doesn't matter that you're buying in a grocery stores, can have the same level of premiumness than if you were buying in Mango. It has to be beautiful, it has to look good.
So you wanted to elevate the product.
Exactly. The product and the client experience mostly. But because the product was okay, but just promoting it differently. Instead of putting a underwear or maybe some shoes between a can of beer and maybe a sausage, we took it out to make real catalogs. We went to South Africa. We were shooting underwear campaigns in Morocco, in South Africa. It was kind of good. Went to the United States with real models. It doesn't matter that the products are not expensive, but we wanted to elevate the experience from the clients.
The feeling that they got when I'm buying something that has been marketed.
Exactly. So that was quite interesting. I worked there for...
Decathlon, you went in as a domain expert?
Exactly.
For...
horseback riding?
Yeah, equestrian. And then you learned about supply chain, you learned about sales or buying side, then at Auchan.
Exactly.
Okay, so you start to see more and more parts of the business. And what did you study meanwhile?
I studied a business, I had a bachelor in business administration with an executive, an MBA in marketing. So I had the full scope, but I haven't done anything. So people, when they start, they don't know anything.
It's all theory.
Exactly, all theory. When you get confronted to clients, to brands, and all the packages that comes with it, you need to be corporate, you need to be political, you need to have a vision, you need to have an end view to the consumer. How do you work from the store up? And that's what I have been doing. I started at the store, what I always say, from the store to general management. I did all the positions there exist. I just flew a little bit faster, but we'll get into that. I have done all the jobs that you can have from the store to general management. So it gives me a very good understanding of what people were doing in my teams.
Okay. What would you say to a young business administration graduate like you were, that wants to break into this, or that is now just entering through the store as a store manager? or some kind of middle management as an advice to to grow like you did inside of companies and to see all different departments? And
I would say don't be cocky. Don't think
be cocky.
Don't think because you did a nice business school that
you know everything.
Exactly, first of all, and that you start from the store. When you know what a client wants, you move your way up. When you start corporate, you have no relationship whatsoever with a client. So it's all theory. Yes, I was told that. No, but you have never done it before. Work your ass from the store up, whatever it goes, but start from the back, from the bottom, like an entrepreneur. When you're working there, when you're taking your sleeves and stuff like that. When I started, I had a bachelor, it's like 7 years of study. I spoke 4 languages and I was moving food for horses. That was not what I was expecting. I thought I would go directly into a big office and having a team. Yeah, no. Managing teams that didn't went to college, you need to adapt culturally to the people you're working with, but also to relate to your client. That's the most important thing. Know what your client wants. As for tech, for you guys, you need to anticipate what the clients need because they don't know what's coming. But when you're working in fashion or retail, it's anticipating the expectations of clients. And you already know it when you're in the store.
A bit of a tangent. Is that the same for luxury?
Exactly the same. Exactly the same, but with luxury, you don't follow trends, you create them. That's the first thing. The only thing that makes luxury is the craftsmanship. It's done differently somewhere else with premium materials. The experience in store is very elevated, but at the end is how much revenue you can create from that. How do you work on brand equity? How do you make your brand stronger over time? How do you get clients loyal over a long period of time without losing the new generations? How do you make this eternal... You don't buy because you need something in luxury. You buy because you want it. It's completely different. Yeah.
Let's go back to your life story. After Auchan, you worked at many other brands.
I did 10 brands, 7 different groups. So yes.
10 brands in 7 different groups.
Yeah.
Before doing what you're doing now.
Yes.
Which we'll get into it later.
Yes.
The last thing you did, or almost the last thing you did, right, was a global, very recognizable brand. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah.
And what you did there?
I was very lucky to be able to be managing director for a brand that is 180 years old, a brand that reinvented its category. Before telling what brand it is, Yves Saint Laurent used to say, if I could have invented one product, it would have been the jean.
The jean.
So I'm talking about Levi's, 1874. German person who goes to the United States, creates with someone else what we know today. Denim, it's a fabric that comes from Nice, denim de Nice, and he created that with rivets for the miners, for the workers. So it's a brand that has a strong heritage. Everybody knows it. It has grown through the ages. Everyone has a different understanding of what that brand is. And I was very happy to be the managing director for Levi's in Europe in kids with an amazing team.
So you designed all the kits for kids clothing for Levi's in Europe.
Exactly. We were responsible.
Design, manufacture, sell.
We were responsible design, production, wholesale, retail, everything, marketing, the whole package. So it's quite interesting when after working for 25 years, you get the opportunity to work for such a big brand and be like the guardian of the brand DNA. Yep. It's very nice. We did a great work on that brand because when we took it, the brand has lost like a whole generation, some positioning problems that they were.
Of consumers.
On consumers, because it was not relevant anymore. Between the United States and Europe, it's even different. So it's quite...
So you had lost a bit of sales.
We lost a bit of sales and traction. Relevance. People were not expecting to see Levi's. And we did a very good job in, first of all, reducing the assortment because we were producing a lot just to dilute our risk. I said, we're going to reduce that. from 500 SKUs to only 300, but we're going to be doing 300 really well. We did that. We proposed the never out of stock products. So 15% of the assortment was never out of stock. So it helped our supply, our partners have the good stock in the stores. In the scope of 3 years, we multiplied the sales by 3.5 and the EBITDA by 15. So it was a quite interesting
You multiplied the EBITDA by 15?
Yes.
15 times?
Yes.
When you entered, how much were you making?
We were doing around 27 million a year. At 3.5 years later, we were doing 95.
Wow.
And we were doing 27 million euros in revenue in EBITDA. Because we worked on the never out of stock. So we were buying T-shirts before we were selling them for 12, but we were buying them for 4. And then we did a massification buying with the suppliers, and we went into buying them for €1.80, but still selling them for 12. And then instead of selling 500,000 pieces of a product, we were selling 4 million of the same product. So the revenue came from 5 products that made us very wealthy.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was
a
great
nice
job. Reminds me of like in tech, there is a similar story in Apple when Apple had, was kind of failing.
It's the same thing.
1,000 different products, and then they
64.
they rehired Steve Jobs, and the guy cut everything to 4 or 5, right?
16.
Just less products.
Exactly.
So I then explored and simplified and made less things but better. It reminded me a lot of...
That is exactly the same, and I had read that book.
Yeah.
But it resonated because we were doing a decathlon. It's one product for one need, and one need is a price. Simple
product, need, price.
As simple as that.
I'm such a fan of Decathlon.
Yeah, it's so good. It's simplified, but the research and development team is the second largest after Renault in Paris. So the department those who are working in design is great, because they're not looking to make it expensive. They're making true. It's called le sport tout le monde. Everyone has the right to do sport. It doesn't have to be expensive. So that's really nice. That's a very good school to start with working.
Yeah. You seem like you're a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan, and most of my friends are still there. If today someone offered me half of my salary to go work for Decathlon, I will do that.
Amazing company.
Yeah.
I'm always saying if it was public, like a public company, I would be upset as a customer because it would probably, degrade. But as a potential, I would buy stock in Decathlon if I could.
We had old stock in Decathlon, so we were working our ass off because we like the company and we were convinced that it was like, I get it.
Like public stock, like shares.
That's it. But that will never be public.
Why?
Because it's owned by one person. It's one family. The same family that owns Auchan, Leroy Merlin. Yeah. It's a huge family business. It's doing around 250 billion euros, the group. It has over 50 brands, huge brands.
Let's move on to what you're doing now. After working for 25 plus years in fashion in the industry, you decided you want to, again, reinvent yourself. And what are you doing now?
So today I'm helping fashion luxury executives understand how to deploy an AI strategy.
Okay.
I'm working with the best brands, best solutions to relieve pain points on the whole value chain that to me are important. I'm not working with solutions that work in human resources, finance. I don't care. It's pure creativity from design to retail enhancement. And I chose the best solutions that cover a real pain point in design, in creativity, in supply chain, in marketing, and retail enhancement. So that's what I'm doing. But before doing that, I had no clue how ChatGPT or AI worked. I started in February last year and had never used ChatGPT. Nothing.
How did you go from here to there?
So in less than 6 months after starting at this French company, I was giving my first keynote in New York in Fashion Worldwide Talks about how AI was reshaping the industry and how it could be a topic on sustainability. Why? Because I was very interested to understand the technology. So I went with all the tech guys in the company, explain me this. I didn't get anything at the beginning, but I was bridging what they were saying were the things that I actually lived being a CEO. Say, okay, I see this problem. How do we solve it? And it started like that. And in order to get even more performant in what we're doing, I decided to go to Stanford in the United States to do an executive in AI leadership, not to explain what AI does, but how to implement it. What are the frameworks to do that? Can AI solve that problem? If yes, you go to the second stage. Can it elevate a person, or can it go directly to automatization? If you have that, do I go into a personal workflow, into a group workflow, or do I go into a company workflow? Once you've got that, I go into difference between machine learning, Gen AI. I wanted to understand all that. And my capstone project was, how do I integrate vertically solutions like Fermat that comes in a pinpoint really to solve a problem, and to say that the more specialized you are, the better it is. That's what I'm doing today.
After doing this, graduating in Stanford, this executive in Stanford, you're now helping AI solutions and distributing these AI solutions across, all your network of, very well positioned people in fashion, and executives that were you
before
3 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah,
it's an amazing way to start a business. Like, you connect your new passion with your existing knowledge, and because you know both sides of the equation now.
Exactly. That's quite interesting, and I'm lucky enough to work with great solution that I personally picked. First of all, I started with the French ones.
There's a lot out there. There's a lot of solutions.
There's a lot, too many, and very bad ones.
Okay.
So what's interesting is that I started cherry picking the best ones. I started with the French ones because it was a French ecosystem.
You live in Paris now?
I live in Paris. Then I enlarged it to Europe. That's where we met. And then I brought in a little bit more worldwide. Why? Because I was presenting one of the solutions, or talking at the CES, at NRF in Singapore, in New York, in Paris. I was in Las Vegas, and I met extraordinary people that are very bright, like the guys in your team. And I say, I like to work with those people because they inspire me. There's a young generation wanting to change the world through data. And I think that's kick-ass amazing. And I think it's our industry has to change. It needs to change. It was like in 1800s, people were doing pictures and the painters were saying, what the hell?
Yeah.
Now we're doing the same thing. We're just shifting the way things are done. And I like doing that. And just to cover it, I'm working with solutions that go from design to retail, and it starts with a solution that was created in Paris by Barbara and Pierre. It's called LiveTrend. They backed up trends with data, with machine learning. It's not more a gut feeling, saying someone, I think it's going to be red and it's going to be a sleeveless dress. No, we know it. We analyzed the data on the fashion shows. We backed it up with the information from the competitors. So we have data to back up the information. Then you go, when you know...
This is one of the solutions.
That's one of the solutions in Paris. Barbara. So Barbara, if you're listening, next time you're sitting here.
Yeah.
So that's a good one.
We invite every founder that you work with here.
That's going to be good. So that starts with LiveTrend. Second one, you guys. I don't think I need to present you guys, but you're covering a whole lot of the creative spectrum, going from starting to a product just to the marketing into the B2B or shooting virtual try-on. So you're covering a big chunk of what I was doing. Then once you know what you're doing, what product you're having, you need to buy it and you need to supply it. I'm working with Autumn. That was done by Adil, who came, I think, from Balenciaga or something like that, from luxury. And he wanted to reinvent his job on replenishing, rebalancing stock. It works amazingly because what I was telling you, AI can analyze the sales, your stock, the probability of selling, and how much margin you're doing per point of sales. And it's going to tell you, where should I allocate my stock? Normally, it took you... I was doing that at Decathlon. It took me 3 to 4 days. Wow. It takes now 20 minutes max, because AI will prepare the data for you to work. When you move then into marketing, I have solutions like PowerX by Clément and Simon Fauché. That's amazing because they work with 3D data so that you can use the same asset on Instagram, on Facebook, on your website, and doing that to have ultra specialization like with Yves Saint Laurent, where you do your custom bags. So it reduces costs on doing different shoots by having one asset that works everywhere. And they just created a fashionable and very interesting flow with an agent where you start with a product, you say what you have, and it will create all your assets in 2 minutes.
Wow.
So that's quite amazing. And you see all the possibilities on where you're going. Once I have marketing, you need to stop me. Oh, I need to start drinking. I don't know.
So you're now helping AI solutions, and you mentioned LiveTrend, who helps in the trend research and preparation and trend digestion for fashion brands, design teams, collection planning, mood boarding. Then we move into Fermat. We do, product development and technical development, colors, materials, fabrics, and then also B2B shoots. And then we move into Autun.
Autun, yeah.
What's the one-line pitch? They help you
optimize your stock.
Stock optimization with AI.
Exactly.
Okay.
As simple as that. And it works great.
Founded by?
Adil.
Who will become here also.
Should be coming too.
in the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, then we move to?
PowerX, 3D assets to enhance product experience through all the touch points.
Wow.
So that's amazing.
In my mind, and I've told you this before, you're like a VC, like a venture capitalist, but you don't have a fund yet.
No.
You've personally invested in some of these companies.
Exactly.
And you're investing time as well to help them out. My dream is with you to start a fund on fashion tech, because you have the portfolio already, you've built it, you have the knowledge, and not only you could be investing time, but also money.
That would be good. It has been working my mind, so it's moving forward.
Okay. So at dinner you tell me more.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I mean, I guess it's obvious, but why, after doing your journey as an executive, why AI? Why did you say, okay, I really need to get into this AI thing next? You could just go back in your chair and relax, but why move into AI and help these companies accelerate?
Every time I changed job, it was opportunistic. I didn't thought of it. It came, and I took it. And like Richard Branson from Virgin said, if someone offers you a job and you don't know how to do it, accept it. That was my role. I had no fucking clue how it works.
Okay.
And I took it. And I don't say I master it, but I think have more knowledge than most of people on this industry.
So you help a lot of different brands now on one side, and a lot of these brands you eventually sell solutions to are your friends.
Exactly.
And then you also make great friends with the startups, with the solutions that you sell. How do you see the way the industry is changing, or the way the industry is working with AI, or how the way they work has changed with AI, thanks to the solutions you're helping out?
First of all the brands I'm working with, most of them started with friends. I called, first of all my friends.
Yeah.
Saying, I have great solutions. The way I told you, I was sleeping at a friend's house, and I told him, look what I'm doing, and I just presented Fermat. It goes easily when someone acknowledges that you're not trying to
push.
Exactly. They trust what you're saying.
Yeah.
They tell, would you use it as an ex-general manager? I said, yes, I would. Why? Because this is relieving this point. How much time can I gain? How much money can I gain?
The ROI is real.
The ROI is real, but we're not yet in the ROI everywhere. But we're gaining, first of all, and it came out today in McKinsey, you're gaining operational efficiency, first of all. Making people more elevated in their work. ROI is not everywhere in AI. You can have it when you are more in marketing, but in others you don't have it yet. But
it's hard to measure.
It's hard to measure for the moment, but it will come, and it's mostly the brands where they're working, to get back to that, they're all testing. They're all doing POCs like we were doing. You need to convince them that they need to integrate this solution in their workflow. And that's where it comes in. It's not just integrating AI. You need to integrate it and change your workflow. If you don't change your work, it doesn't make any sense. That's the first thing. And secondly, you need to invest money into training your team. It's not because you trained your team 6 months ago that you don't need to train them now. It's a continuous training to show them, and that is a part of the keynote that I gave in Serbia, that I gave in Paris, in the United States lately. It's how do you frame that and deploy it. You need to understand that everything will change. It will. You have nothing to do. It will change.
So the way you're seeing companies change now is basically operationally, making their operations more efficient thanks to AI.
Yeah.
Would you like to maybe share with our audience and with me, what's your favorite kind of use cases or the most extreme ROI or the most efficient?
Yeah. So I'm working.
That you've seen. Yeah.
I'm working with a solution called Kahuna.
Yeah.
It's an American solution that won the LVMH Business Impact Award during Vivatech. Vivatech is the largest tech fair in Europe, and we had a case study with LVMH Group with one of the brands, Dior, and we worked on personalization. What does it mean? First of all, what does Kahuna do? Kahuna is an AI segmenting tool to segment anonymous visitors on the web store. You have to know that only 5% of the visitors of your website are known by the brand.
So this is for the e-commerce?
For the e-commerce. So I'm really taking it because the closer to the market you are into retail, the more ROI you have because you see what it makes.
So it's easier to prove ROI the closer you are to sales and to the point of sale, to the e-commerce and sort of all of that, marketing.
Yeah.
And it's harder to prove the closer you are to in design, in trend.
Exactly. Okay. So what does it do? It segmented anonymous visitors on your website, enhancing real-time experience to know, is it a man, is it a woman, by intent of buying behavior, how much they want to spend, with something that is still today completely mind-blowing. It's called digital body language. It depends on how you scroll, how you move, how you hover. We can have difference between a man and a woman because they don't use, and then you can segment. If you're using in retargeting your amount of budget, instead of retargeting 100% of your clients, knowing that only 15% are available to buy, you just use the 15% to the 15% that's going to be buying. You can reduce your marketing expenses by 50%, but still get the same revenue. That's on marketing. And the other one that we did with Dior is to say we have two personas that we're going to be targeting. The first one will be the fashionistas, so people looking up to have very fashionable product, and the others only looking for buy gifting. So when we know who that is, we will be able to know this person is coming to buy fashion, and the next page they're going to be showing them are only related products to fashion. So conversion rate will higher, average basket is higher, and the same thing goes for the gifters. People looking for gifts, they don't want to show up thousands of pages just to look up for a product. We saw the upside. I'm sorry, I cannot give you the real KPIs because that's quite confident, but it's amazing, and we see a strong traction. So it starts from design and it ends with Kahuna in retail enhancement.
Amazing.
And it's amazing, yes.
You blew my mind with digital footprint, it's called?
Digital body language.
Digital body language.
Yeah.
So they can know what type of customer you are based on the way you interact with the website.
Exactly. Not what you do, but how you do it.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's like a sales advisor in the store.
So
a sales advisor.
Who's the founder?
Gal Rapaport. He was...
Gal, please come join the podcast next
I'll
time.
invite you, Gal, next time. So Gal was the head of personalization at Alexa Shopping. When I'm with him, I've got the impression that I'm completely dumb. He's so smart, it goes so fast that you need to keep up. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you, Raul. Because you are working with the best solutions out there, arguably, and you see how they're implementing into all these brands in different ways, in different departments. What's the future looking like? Like, how do you think AI in fashion will look like in 3 or 5 years from now? Or the time frame you're comfortable with answering?
I think it's going to start from next year, and it's just going to escalating it very, very fast. First of all, I think Gen AI is a great tool, but we're going to be seeing agentic AI. Next step.
Okay.
Saying, we have talked about it, is now you want to work on a collection for Fermat. You say, I want this, I want this. You're going to have your agent train on your brand that will be working overnight to give you, when you get in the morning to the office.
Yeah, that's my dream.
All the options. And it's available for all the solution we're working. Saying an AI will be filtering, scrapping what happened on your website, how many people didn't get through the card. It will be saying, this people, we need to address them with this mail. Here is the content, you just need to hit enter. Are you okay or not? That's going to be the job. It means it will be shifting jobs. I always say in my presentations, AI will not replace people. It will only replace those who are not willing to change. First of all, a lot of jobs will disappear, but a lot of them will be new, that we don't even know what exists. And brands need to take that into account with human resources. I was 2 days ago, I was in Adopt AI Summit in Paris. I was talking to an HR from a very big bank, and we're saying, nobody goes to a bank anymore. You don't need it. AI will be able to do everything you need, but you need to have someone who will give you an elevated customer experience to something very personal, maybe an investment or something like that, not just, I didn't find my card. That's bullshit. AI will do that, you don't need it.
Yeah.
And I think that's for mass. And when you are in luxury, you need AI to be very discreet, very seamless, and it's the choice of the client. You might be calling to a consumer, like a client base, and you can have an AI answering, and we can ask a question to the client, do you want an AI to work with you or with a person? 78% of millennials and Gen Z are expecting to have hyper-personalization touchpoint with AIs. So that's the next generation. AI will be everywhere. It has to be invisible, and invincible. It's like Terminator. It's going to be crazy stuff.
Invisible.
But invisible, seamless, discreet, but enhancing operationality.
Elegant.
Yes, in a way.
Elegant AI.
It should be. Yeah, a French one could be good.
What's your favorite fabric?
That's easy. My favorite fabric would be denim.
Why?
Because it's a living fabric. You can have very cheap fabrics. You can have fabrics that come from Japan. We saw them together that are weaved by hand, and it's amazing. And they will, like shoes, they have a patina. They will live. The older they get, they will mold to your body, and they will be unique. But it's a very polluting industry. But now we can also do digital washing with laser, stuff like this that we did with a company in Turkey. But denim is quite nice, but in a very preppy way. I like the way mixing it with other pieces. It makes a statement, like we used to say in G-Star, a brand that I also director. It's the forbidden combinations. How do you take a tailor pant with a denim and put some Spanish shoes that were painted by hand? You create your own style.
You once told me that denim is a great equalizer. Everyone can wear denim.
Exactly.
Workwear, luxury, and that's what makes it so great. It's universal and it has character.
Exactly, that's a well statement.
And I thought that was really inspiring. I learned a lot from you today, so thank you, Raul, for joining.
Thank you for having me.
I think we will have you back another day because I think you have much more to explain.
That was nice.
Thank you.
Gracias, hombre. No hicimos ni una puta pregunta, tal cual estaba escrita.
No, sí, hemos hecho.